And we live. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James. I am here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. Not gonna happen in this video, but that's all right. We gonna, do what it do. And excuse my background. It is football season in my house. It is crazy. So excuse my mouth.
I love it.
But joining us as always is my girl, Mrs. Best. Y'all say what's up to her.
Hello,
Yes,
beautiful
and
people.
is there a delay on our side? Uh-oh. I think there is.
I can hear you fine.
I feel like there's a delay somewhere. I think my bars are down because you're taking a long time to respond.
Really? Oh, I don't know.
hmm We'll see. But going through the episode, y'all, this is Love and Marriage, Huntsville, Season 8, Episode 13. Y'all, this episode was so ridiculous and so silly. I cannot with Love and Marriage, Huntsville. Just, whew, we going to get through it, y'all. We going to get through it. So the show opens up where it begins with Melody, or actually, no, this is the first time it's not a continuation. See, I'm so used to saying that about them. But Melody is trading her, up and coming entrepreneurs on property preservation, which I actually looked into. It's a hard business to get into, especially if you don't have like routine maintenance like skills. It's not an easy business. So big ups to anybody who does do it, but Melody is, training people. She's said that she has trained over 800 entrepreneurs. So big ups to her because you're doing something in the community. You're doing something that is going to brand people to make money. So big ups to Mel. So as she's going through the house and she has the contractor looking at this house and training the folks, she decided that she wanted to call Sunny because Sunny also remodels and flips homes as well. She should have had Sunny there. Now, this whole time that Sunny has been on this show, no one ever mentioned that Sunny flips homes. She mentioned we know that Moses does it, but we had no idea Sunny does it. And apparently she has an online website where you can actually see her doing it. I'm just like, oh, I had no idea. Mrs. Best, did you have any idea that Sunny does this?
No clue. No clue whatsoever. But I'm not surprised
I,
because
I,
producers, I don't know if that pays enough to keep up with the lifestyle that she wants. But
mm, true that, true that. So when she called Sunny, she was like, hey, we over here, I'm training people and you should have been here. And Sunny's like, oh, yeah. And she asked her, well, I'm going to see you at Kitty's event. She's having her food tasting event. And Sunny said she's not going to be able to make it. And she was like, why? She goes, I got caught with it. And she goes, oh, dang. Okay, well, I'm going to catch up with you because there's something I want to tell you, but we'll catch up another time and I'll tell you. She said, okay. And I was like, And at this whole time, I'm looking at Melody. I'm like, Melody, this is very Tiffany of you. This is very Tiffany of you. I don't know how I feel about this just yet. So the next scene we see is Miss Nail and Mr. Fletcher. And he's bringing her a glass of red wine, and they begin talking about, some business and another event they're going to go to where they're going to invite their kids. Oh, sorry, yeah, their adult children, because they're using new terminology, so that way they can fit the resource of the kids not being kids that are latching on for financial gain. So while she's bringing up the adult children thing, he begins to ask her about how did you feel the therapy session went with Dr. Francis. And Nail said, no disrespect to Dr. Francis, but I don't see how this became a Nail intervention where everyone's coming down on me. And same old black mama stuff. I'm telling you, it's the same old black mama stuff. And he goes, well, I don't think he was trying to make it about you. It's just setting the foundation, and how the kids feel when it comes to you. And she goes, I got it. I got it. They come to you because you'll listen to them and you'll hear them. And then they don't come to me because I'm just going to respond to everything. I got it. And I'm thinking now, like, well, if you got it, then why do you keep doing it? It's very weird. It's like if you know the behavior and if you know your children don't come to you because they don't feel safe to do so, then why do you continue to emulate this behavior? It can't be that hard to shake if you're aware of it. Mrs. Best, am I wrong or I don't know?
Yes and no. You're right on the stuff with Nell that she needs to address, but then at the same time, the session is because regardless of what happened in their childhood, these kids are still more dependent on their parents than they are to be self-sufficient. It sounds like they're turning to the parents before they even try to solve a problem on their own financially. So, in my opinion, I feel like there was more to that session that we did not see. And I'm going to say I also hope that there was more to that session that we did not see. Now, if the therapist broke down now, that's an important part. She views as an attack because that's that old negative black spirit toward therapy. But that is necessary because any way that the kids are does come from and stem from the parent. But they were there because these kids are not really self-sufficient. And just because you feel a way about how your childhood was or how your mom is doesn't give you the right to just take advantage of her finances and stuff. So I partially agree with Nell. We should have seen the kids also be held accountable. But I also feel like the therapist was right to also hold Nell accountable. Everybody wrong, in my opinion,
You
in
know,
this.
I absolutely, I agree with that. Everybody wrong. Everybody
In
is
some way.
like, it's like you can't spoil them all their lives and then think it's just gonna turn off because you run out of money. Like that's not how
And
that
then Nell
works.
and I listen,
Like,
I don't have kids, but Nell and Chris don't seem to be on the same page with how they treat and respond to the children. If they were a united front when they present themselves to them adult children, then I think that a lot of this could really fix itself. But it also looks like they need the therapy. So I don't know. I honestly, James, I'm gonna just keep it real. I like Nell and Chris as people, but I don't really care for them on TV.
well, it's just their demographic is not what the premise of the show is. Yes, we're talking about love and marriage, Huntsville. Yes, we're talking about, being married. And yes, the challenges sometimes are your children. But that's all their storyline has been is the fact that they're children. We don't see their relationship as far as, what they communicate on a daily basis. It always has something to do with one of their children. And I'm kind of like at a point where, like, at least with you know, the others, we get to see their business, aspects. We've only seen Nell in her daycare one or two times where she was in there, and then the other time she was handing out school supplies. That's the only time we really seen her business. And Mr. Fletcher, we only seen him showing Destiny and not Destiny, Sonny and Moses at home. Like I need to see more of the business acumen, like how Mel does with her property preservation and what she does with her beauty regimens, and also with Stormy. We see Stormy's warehouse, we see the products, we see how she packages, we see the ship off. I need to see more of that too, because we're talking about business entrepreneurs here. So I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching a little bit, but it's just something is not, you know, fitting right with the puzzle piece with them too. That's all I'm saying. It's just something goes off. So moving on from there, the next thing we're going to talk about is the food tasting. So Kimmy is hosting a food tasting. One of the chefs wants to open up a restaurant in the space that her and Maurice both own. So she has acquired to do a food tasting, which is pretty smart, to do that because that kind of can signature your way in because then the people who own the place can talk about how good the food is and also maybe promote this on the show as well. So that way people can come. So it was very smart of the chef to do this. So Mel was the first to show up. And when Mel shows up, she tells Kimmy that she has a surprise because she mentioned it at the end of the event. And Kimmy's like, "Well, can I know what it is?" And Melody said, "No, it's a surprise. You don't need to say anything." So Nell and Chris get there, and then also Tisha and Marcel get there as well. And Maurice pulls Tisha to the side. He said, "Tisha, you gonna be on your best behavior. Ain't gonna be no rah rah, is it?" And she was like, "What you talking about?" And he goes, "Remember when you was at Nell's birthday party? You was turned up." And then they show a flashback of her turning up. And she goes, "No, I'm good. That was nothing. We're fine." And I'm like, okay, Tisha. So Mel actually pulls up to say that when it came to her training the people at her property preservation team, she told them after the training was over to go have a drink at Black since it's open. And then they came back to tell her, no, it's not open and it's 9 o'clock. And so Mel was like, okay, well, what's going on, Marcel, Tisha? Why wasn't that open? I sent my people there. And immediately Tisha was like, did you send people or did you see millimeters? And Mel
Tisha
was like, it
is
doesn't
gonna
matter.
blame the millimeters for every single thing. Okay. If Tisha is expected it to be sunny and she wants to go outside and then it rains, that's the millimeters. They are controlling the weather. Tisha, they, like, yes, they are intense, the millimeters. I think we can all acknowledge that some of them are intense. However, comma, girl, why would she send what classes you running, Tisha?
Right. Like, it was so weird. It was like, even if she did, the whole concept is your business is closed, and she wants to know why. Because if she's sending people to your place for y'all to have some business, and the business is not open, she can't ask why. Like, and then you're worried about there being millimeters. Like, it doesn't matter. There's still
A
people. There's
true
still
business
patrons
owner don't
potential.
care, right? If you spending money,
Right.
you spending money. As long as you ain't tearing up the
Exactly.
joint, what's the problem?
Yeah. So Marceau mentions that it was the city that closed them down, and Mel's like, "Wait, the city? Why would the city close you down?" And and this is what we talking about HK. Yes, and hey, we miss you. Thank you for joining us. So Mel was like, "Why would they shut you down?" And Marceau says, "I'm trying to get it out. I'm already laughing about it because it's y'all." Okay, Marceau said that it was because some of the furniture they had at Black they did not write off on their taxes, or they didn't report it on their taxes,
Oh
so
my
they shut them down.
god. Just
Now
admit that you
Marceau,
let Tisha handle something by herself and she fucked up the church's money. Just admit it.
that had to have been the most ridiculous excuse
Damn
I
furniture.
have ever heard in my life. I'm like, come on, Marcel, for real, like for real. It was some furniture we didn't
You gonna
report on
say
our
that to a
taxes.
businesswoman, an established
No, and the
businesswoman,
fact
like she
is,
gonna believe it. What's a
was he
use?
referring to the what's a use tax? So here's the thing, HK. The whole state shutting them down would have nothing to do with this situation. If this were true, this would be federal. The state would not have any part in this. So yeah, I just feel like that's not the
It
reason.
doesn't
They
even
they're closing down.
align. I just Googled a use tax and it doesn't even align with what he's trying to say. It
It's
says
that's because
use
it
tax
doesn't, yeah.
is a tax imposed on the use, storage, or consumption of goods and services. It is typically imposed by the state or local government where the goods or services are used, and the rate is often the same as the sales tax rate. Unlike sales tax, which is collected by the seller at time of purchase, use tax is collected from the buyer based on their use of the goods or services. So he could have something there, but I don't see that furniture is like something common. Where the lawyers at?
Yeah, I need the lawyers to speak up because here's the thing. I've never seen the state get involved for use tax like that. Not to the thing, but they're closing you down. They may fine you. So if you didn't pay the fine, then maybe I can see that.
I just Googled
Like,
if furniture counts under use tax and it says no in bold. Your cost basis is of your original purchase price plus any
right.
improvements you make to your so it says no. So
Because
Marcel,
here's the thing.
it
I
doesn't
know, like,
exist.
because, well, I'm not saying that no use tax is a real thing, but in furniture wise, I've never heard use tax being inside furniture. That's why I'm glad you Googled it because I've never heard that. Now, what I have heard is appliances. Yes, absolutely, it does.
That's what I see on here too is appliances. So
Yeah, applying because I was saying, yeah, I know use tax. That's why I said I don't believe that Because use tax, I know appliances because I had a friend open a business and he got cited for that as well because he had bought, I think it was a water heater, and he didn't report that on his report tax as well. So they ended up, but they fined him. They didn't close his business down. They just sent him a fine when he tried to file his business tax for the next year. They fined him. I think it was like a, I don't remember how much it was, but I just remember his audit was really bad. Like the state did a really huge audit, and they audited all of the appliance purchases that he did, not just that one, but all of them from the beginning that he had this business open. Because that was weird that you wouldn't do that, but he did buy it later on, so he thought it was something he could save until the next year, and it didn't work that way. So that's why I'm like, I don't. That's why when he said that, I was like,
He left
Marcel.
Tisha to handle that because she always want to be independent, and she probably messed up the church's little pieces of change. And now look at them, shut down with no open date in sight. That's what I personally feel like happened. I personally don't think Tisha should be doing anything business wise. The only thing I want to see her do is like do a hair care line or something because she has a lot of hair and it's beautiful. That's it.
So my thought, and this is allegedly, I'm just going to say allegedly on my channel to protect it because I have not seen the court documents on this. So allegedly, I think it was a result of that gambling thing that they had going on a while back, and I think that got settled. Because is back open now? I don't know. If anybody who lives in Huntsville, Alabama, that's been to Black after this has aired, is it back open? That's what I want to know because I feel like this close down was a part of that. I do because that wasn't that long ago that that happened. That's why I'm like, I think that that finally got settled. That's just my opinion, and this is allegedly because I cannot prove it one way or the other. But y'all can tell me if it's still open, then hey, I'll shut my mouth. But if it's I just want to know. So we move on from there, and they're all ready to sit down and eat. And as they all take their place at the table, we realize that Destiny is not there, and also Sunny and Moses are not there, and all three were invited. So it automatically looks like they were trying to avoid each other, at least to the collective. That Moses and Sunny probably didn't come because Destiny was going to be there, and the same thing, Destiny was not going to be there because Moses and Sunny were going to be there. So we don't know yet. We'll figure out later on in the episode, but from what we understand, they asked, "Has anyone heard from Destiny?" And Trish goes, "Well, I trained her," and it was like, "Oh, y'all get her off my screen, please. Get her off my screen." No one asked if we asked if you talked to her, not if you trained her. We hello, like so. Neil then takes that as a segue to say, "Well, has she said anything? Has she been talking?" And Trisha was like, "Well, I feel like there's a few people that she can, say a word or two with." It was like, oh gosh, here we go. And Mel was like, "Well, who? What's going on there? Wait, back up. What does she need to say?" And this is where Marceau lets it out the bag, or sort of saying, "Well, he had a conversation with her husband." And Melody was looking to the table. She's like, "Well, what happened with the husband?" Like Melody was trying to get the tea. She was. I mean, for real, we're gonna get into that because I'm about to vindicate that husband because now I kind of feel like, okay, you Trisha playing in our faces, y'all. But he then says that, he said some things, and Marceau said, "I told him you need to be thanking Ken for what he's done." And Ken said, "Yeah, I'm a real man and I'm gonna take care of mine. I'm gonna do mine regardless." I just said, "Ken, you a real fool. If I ain't never seen a real fool in my life." And so I kind of figured it out as they were continuing to talk about the situation. I figured it out. He does not want to start over. And that's just what it is. He doesn't want to start over. So what Trisha's doing is not bad per se because we can't prove anything one way or the other. If something really did happen, there's no footage of it. She wasn't on the show. Martell just said she was at the house. So it could be completely innocent. I don't, in my opinion, this is allegedly, I don't feel that it was innocent. Mrs. Best, how did you feel about that opening segment for them talking to Marcel and him, talking to the ex-husband or current husband?
Trisha a lie. And that's it. I don't really have much to say on it just because it's clear that these people are lying. I do believe the husband a little bit more, the way that they were behaving. Here's the thing,
Hmm.
most men would handle it differently than her big old, what's his name? Ken? Is it Ken?
Can, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just feel like most men would have shut it down, the conversation, but instead he's like sitting there like insulting dude while also low key trying to explain himself. They just both behaved in a guilty way. So,
It
but
does
I
give
never
guilty. So
trusted
let's
Trisha. Something about her we just have never
no.
trusted.
Watch your mouth reviews channel has never trusted because from the moment she came on this screen, it's all been bullshit this entire time. So let's dissect this bullshit. So they then asked, when did you guys meet? And that was fuzzy because at first they said 2019 is when they were started dealing with each other. And she said that Marquez left the house in 2020. And then they were like, "Oh, well, y'all were dealing with each other like physically, like in person." And they were like, "No, no, no. We were just DMing each other." And then they said, "Okay, so when did the DMing start?" They said 2016, 2017. Now, you guys, Marquez just did an interview with Carlos and Dr. Heavenly, and he said that they were DMing his from his perception of it because he didn't see it from the beginning. He only saw it in the moment he walked in on, and that was 2017. But he was very much still dealing with Trisha, and so they're saying they were only together for 2 years. So they only got together in 2022. Um, I just want to let y'all know something that even with the DMing from 2016, 2017 to even y'all being together in 2022 looks guilty and fishy. Like y'all were doing something behind this man's back from 2016, 2017. Because what do you need to be in her DMs for if she's married? And Trisha, why did you allow that to continue? Being married is my whole thing. This is what vindicates the husband for me because I kind of feel like maybe he didn't handle their separation the correct way. Maybe he was not, you know, dealing with, her traumas in the same way, but at the same time, how can you deal with that when there is potential infidelity in the marriage? How are we supposed to maneuver that? What he should have did, and this is where I'm gonna get on the husband. What you should have did is got your kids and moved out and let her figure that out instead of just being in your feelings. Leave. So I'm gonna say this to all men. Men, when you feel like the person you're with is doing something shady and you want to leave, take your children with you. Take your children with you and have her fight for the custody. Especially if you live in a state where it can go either or way and not a woman's state. Take those children with you and let her figure it out. Because the truth's gonna prevail. She's either gonna come back to that house saying, "Hey, I miss y'all, let's work this out," or she's gonna go to Ken. But the fact that he left the house like that, it gave her the permission to say that one, he's not present, which he's debunked that rumor on Dr. Heavenly and Carlos's interview. He debunked that for real because he said that he wasn't. It wasn't that he was not present. He was very much so there. It was just only the moment when they first got together where he started missing in action. Which I don't know. But Ken and Trisha's storyline and this whole timeline of them being together is fishy because they couldn't keep the story straight. It was all over the place. We went from 2016, 2019. We were together October 2020. Then we just met 2 years ago. It was all over the place. I couldn't keep up. I couldn't really, and I don't really care because I feel like it was still some underlying there. So, Mrs. Best, how did you feel about the timeline and how they were describing it?
It just proved they guilty some more. That's it.
I mean, it really did. Like, I'm just looking at them like, okay, so y'all were in each other's DMs, which a lot of people consider that cheating in the first place. Because what are you talking to
Honestly,
somebody else for?
I ain't got nobody I'm DMing. And I feel like as a married person, that's strange to just be DMing, especially random dudes of opposite sex who are commenting chocolate bars and emojis, as he said on her pictures. Like, I don't know. I believe some of what Trish is saying. I believe some of what her ex Marquez is saying. Um,
I don't believe Trisha at all
I don't.
because she debunked because remember she debunked that when he confronted her about that. She debunked that she was ever talking to him, that didn't happen, and now she's saying at this dinner that
No, I'm
it
talking
did
about
in
like
fact they were.
overall, like some of what she's saying with the kids, I believe. Like, I don't think he's very close to the daughter the way he is with the son. So I think some of what she's saying in terms of how they split and stuff is a lie. But I know for sure
Okay,
that she is a liar. But when it comes to their divorce, I believe some of what she's saying, some of what he says. As it relates to Ken and their whole thing with how they got together, it's very convenient now that they're acting all wishy-washy with dates. It's very convenient now that I'm thinking back that they both had significant breakups at the same time. It's way too convenient. So I kind of want to
exactly.
see what's going on with his ex, like,
Okay,
because what if they got caught or something together?
lady, wherever you at in the world, come on,
Come
somebody
out, come
platform.
out.
Come out and do the interview, please, because now I need to know. I need to hear your side because I don't fully trust the husband. I damn for sure don't trust Ken and Trish. Lady, what is your story? Is that the reason why you broke up? Is that the reason why you went crazy, or according to him?
I'm sorry,
Please let
y'all.
us know.
Carlos go say in that interview with Trish's husband, he made it seem as if he did not know that they had all this drama prior to casting her. He a damn lie.
I feel like what the hell you bring her on the show for? Because she sure the hell ain't interesting. So what did you bring her on the show for? Come on, Carlos, don't please stop.
That irritated me. I know
Please
it's
stop
off
playing with
topic.
us because we no, that's on topic. Because no, come on, Carlos. You cannot tell me that you did not know this lady was married to a whole nother man and had a whole slew of issues. You cannot tell me that because why would you bring her on the show? It wasn't like she has not been interesting this whole time. She's been talking in this very demure, very stiff, broken language that is very much English, but just seemed like she just got hit with a sack of pennies before she got on camera, and she's just frightened she's gonna get hit again. That's what it seems like to me. That's
You
why
know
I'm
what I
just like,
think? I'm just about to be messy, but I'm gonna keep it real. I think she a little bit of a hoe on the low, and not the kind that walk the streets. I think she's one of them women who's very promiscuous, but she don't kiss and tell. That's what I get from her because
yeah.
it's too. I don't think she like her business out there, which is kind of like I'm like, why are you on a reality
But to
television
me,
show?
you're telling on yourself. To me, she's telling on herself when it comes to like the situation with Martell. I'm gonna use that as an example. You're telling on yourself because the moment when the scene first came on with you and Martell, and he had walked in and introduced himself, you felt slighted, and it was like, okay, if you knew her from back in the day, I get it. But then when he had mentioned that you had been at the house a couple of times, and then she lied about that on camera because she said she never made it to his house. And then when she got to Ken, she goes, "Oh, I have to tell you something. Um, I had, been at Martell's house once, and Martell said a few times. He didn't just say just once. So that's why I'm like, there's something that adding up with her. And even with, like I said, even going back to this dinner with the timeline, they were all over the place. Nobody could keep up. So they ended up letting that go because I'm gonna let this go too because I'm tired of talking. So they end up letting it go. Melody decides she wants to go ahead and make her speech after they told the chef the food was absolutely delicious. Hey, Paula Scott, how you doing? Thank you for joining us. So after Mel goes in the room, she's like, "Okay, so I have an announcement for the ladies." So she ends up handing them a nice pink present that has a bottle attached to it, and she gives one to all the ladies. And she announces that they are going to. So you're going to St. Martin? Is that what it is?
I think that's where it was.
I think St. Martin. I was going to say St. Lucia, but I was like, no, she didn't say no St. Lucia. I think it's St. Martin. So They open her like they're all excited. She makes sure she asks each lady, "Is this the end? Is this the end? Is this the end?" And they're all like, "Yeah." And Melody puts it out there that she has a few other friends that she is going to invite. Some of them are single, so she's going to do that, which I think is fair because she is the only single one out of all the ladies. So it is kind of hard for her to maneuver with a bunch of married women. Oh, it was St. Thomas. Thank you, Paulette Scott. We appreciate you. And as soon as Tisha looks at her, she goes, "Well, can I bring the plus one?" And Mel was like, "Yeah, absolutely. As long as you don't mind with sharing no bed with her, you're fine." And Tisha was like, "Well, I don't know about sharing no bed or anything with her. I need my own room." I'm like, "Well, then what you trying to invite somebody for?" Oh,
I,
Tisha. Tisha.
I don't
Lord.
understand her anger. Like she's got like I just, she just
It,
make my teeth itch. I oh
it just makes me believe, like, I watch other recappers and everyone has this synopsis that the reason why she hates Mel so much is because Marcel secretly wants her.
oh that's clear. That ain't no secret. You see the way he smiled whenever Bell check him? He be hella excited. That's why he
Uh,
always sit down for a little bit longer before leaving after meeting with her. I'm trying to tell you, it's not a secret.
it ain't no secret,
Look how
child.
he
That's
look
it.
at her, and then when Tisha come, he just look exhausted. I'm telling you.
Even with that confession, though, when they were talking about, because Mel had made the statement, some people just can't fathom the thought that men and women can just be friends in their DMs. I didn't like that Mel said that because it's not that that's the perception. When it's too far is the problem when it comes to that situation. I think they both went a little too far because now here we are several years later, they're together now. So obviously something went too far. But it was teaching the confessional for me that was like, you know, maybe some of that thing that Martell was saying was true about her, talking with other men. And it was like, Tisha, even if she did, based on the circumstance and the outcome of what happened in that marriage, she would have been well within her right. Because at the end of the day, all those babies are his. Needless to say, out of all his kids, only one is not hers. So, uh, let's not do that, Tisha, okay? Okay. Is there anything you want to say about this scene before we move on?
People that live in glass houses should not throw stones, Tisha. That's all.
Yeah, and it's very obvious. It's very obvious, and it's one of those things where I feel like they're jealous of her because they thought she was going to be in the slums without Martell, not realizing that it was Mel who was all of the business, as we keep saying on this channel. Mel held all the cards. Mel had all the licenses. So I don't know how y'all thought she was going to fail without Martell. Yep. Let me see if Martell was telling the truth about her screwing his home. I mean, if she did, I listen. Anytime you constantly cheat throughout the entire marriage, I would hope she did. I'm gonna say it like this. I hope she did.
Listen, I
Just
ain't
saying.
shit. I'm just here for the mess. These
Right?
people are messy. I'm like, man, just messy. All
Hmm.
of it.
Yeah. So moving on from there, we then have this little scene where Kimmy and Tisha invite Destiny over, and immediately when Destiny sits down, Martell said that, "Oh, I still stand by that statement. I still stand by that statement. I hope Tisha did it. I hope she did it. I do. Just because it would just make, that scene where he said, "Have you ever been," where Marceau asked her, "Have you ever been unfaithful?" And Tisha said, "I can't confirm nor deny." That would just make that scene just so much sweeter if that happened. So Paulette Scott, I hope she did it. I'm just saying. Because that would just make that scene just so much sweeter to me. Not to say I want her to do that to him, because I don't know if he did the same thing. There's always been allegations, but never anything true. It's just he's made her look ridiculous on this show. So if it happened, that would just be the damn gotcha kind of moment. Like I said, I don't pray down anybody's marriage, but these are some crazy ass people we have to watch every Saturday. So hell, God be with us all. So moving on from there, Destiny. So Kimmy's like, Destiny, why didn't you come to my event? And Destiny says she had a date that night, so she couldn't make it. And Tisha was being messy, and she goes, "Oh, we thought it was because of Sonny and Moses that you wouldn't want to be there." And she was like, "Sonny and Moses," and that's just where Kimmy was like, "Yeah, I did invite them to the event or whatever." And this Tisha also has diarrhea in the mouth. She said, "Yeah, apparently they're moving here." And Destiny said, "I already knew that. Martell had already spilled the beans about that already." And she goes, "Oh." And Destiny makes it clear that she don't care about Sonny and Moses. Nobody's running her away from her friend group. So, and I'm looking at Destiny like, it don't seem like that way to me. It seems like you are avoiding them, which you're well within your right to do so. I wouldn't want to be around them either. But I don't know. I what you think, Mrs. Best? Do you think Destiny is, saying this like, if she there, she there, if she not, she not?
That's, God, listen, I don't really care. These people made it seem like these two being in the same room is going to be like that big a deal. Like they weren't together or they were together. Whatever the hell it is, him and Sonny's forehead are now one. And so if they choose to move to Huntsville, they choose to move to Huntsville. Girl, you don't own the damn city. It's like
I,
enough is enough. You don't have to see them if you don't want to, but you're on the same show as them. I just want to see her like go date somebody or talk about, the arrest that she had recently. Like
yeah, yeah, Carlos. Why we didn't see that? Why we didn't see Destiny go out on no date?
I would love to see like something else.
Yeah,
Like, I don't care. Like at the end of the day, like once people get married, this ain't no just she stole my man. Like she stole him, fucked him, and then married him. Hell, and she took her forehead with her. So there's nothing you can do about it. Now she's on the show. You're on the show. I want to see Destiny like date or do something other than avoid these people.
right. Because to me, Destiny is more upset over Moses and Sonny's situation than she was at LeBerick. I feel like she wasn't this sad about her and LeBerick divorcing. So why are you just so distraught about? I don't know. It's just she's weird, and this is what.
Carlos got an ego. He's the
Yes,
gay Tyler Perry.
I had something to say about that, but I'll keep my mouth shut. I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut because inappropriate. Much love to Tyler Perry. Much love.
Oh.
Much love. Much love. No, we didn't see her cry over Nola Bear. No, we
That's a
didn't see
very
that.
good point though, because she is so impacted by this, but she was not this impacted by the divorce, and that
We didn't
doesn't
even know
make
she was
sense.
going through no divorce. She literally came in the new season talking about, oh, I'm divorced, and that was it. And it was like, and that's
What?
why Mel was like, well, damn, why you didn't share that with me? That's tough. Like, and she was just cold hearted about it. And it was like, yeah. And the stuff he did, like, according to her, that was some pretty dire shit to serve divorce papers after you just gave birth. Like, n- I don't know about Destiny, y'all. It's something just screams bullshit to me. It just does. It just every time I look at her, I'm just like, I can't get with Destiny. I just can't. So they then, talk about the girls' trip and how Mel put together a girls' trip and that Destiny will be her plus one. And from we know Destiny is on board with going, and we'll see how this turns. We'll see what this turns into. We'll see how Mel takes it and go from there. But speaking of Mel, Mel meets up with Sunny and they go shopping for bikinis and everything and loungewear for the vacation because she's let us know that she's invited Sunny, but she had to tell Sunny, some of these ladies don't see it for you. I was just around them, and you and Moses were definitely of conversation. And she She should have. I don't know why, but hey, I guess she needs the check, so we gonna give it to her. But Mel was like, yeah, some of these people didn't have the most positive things to say. And she goes, well, was Destiny there? And she goes, no. And she was all like, well, I know Kimmy is cool. Me and Kimmy are cool. And Mel was like, this was very Tiffany of you, Mel. I see you. I see you, the Tiffany coming out. I see why you two were friends. Because this was so like this reminded me of Tiffany. This whole scene right here, like when Mel was shopping with Sonny, I was like, oh my God, I miss Tiffany on the show. I do, because this is the mess that we've been looking for. But Mel kept it professional. She did. Like, it wasn't like a bashing. She just said that she wasn't really seeing it for Kimmy, especially because she said in one breath, Kimmy was, happy that you were there because you were one of the first people to really be with her and pray with her while she was going through her chemo and everything. And Sonny acknowledges that, but she said, but in the same breath, she said that she doesn't stand with you when it comes to this whole Sonny and Moses thing. She feels like, well, why would you be bashing her and at the same time speak highly of her? It doesn't make any sense. And here's the thing, I understand the point Mel was trying to make, but two things could be true at the same time. So I'm gonna put this in perspective for y'all because I understood what she was saying, but I felt like this is kind of one of those situations where how her and Moses got together was grimy. It was. It wasn't like it was some, you know, innocent thing. It was sort of, calculated. But at the same time, Sonny being there for Kimmy could have also been, something that Kimmy saw as like a very enduring thing because she didn't have to do that. So this is best. Before I move on to what else was said in this conversation, how did you feel about that? Did we lose Mrs. Bass or are we delayed again? I think I might be delayed because I heard this morning, but I'll give her a moment to answer it in just a moment. Her mute button might be broken too. But in terms, I just felt like I appreciated Mel giving her the warning and saying like, "Hey, be aware." And Sonny was like, "I don't know if I should go because I don't like, I'm not used to this. I'm used to being behind the screen." And I'm just like, "Sonny, suck it up. Go on this trip and just make everyone just sweat. Like, just make everyone just be like, you know what? I'm here. I'm on the show. Whatever destiny." What is HA saying? Mel is black and white with her relationships. I think she thinks Kimmy should either ride with Sonny in public or correct in private. I can see that. I actually can see that. I can see that as well. Um, you know, Here's my thing with because I understood what she was saying, but I felt like to me, I don't know. I just felt like two things could be true. I feel like she could still feel that way about how Sunny moved and her got her marriage. She could feel that way, and then she could also feel like at the same time, that lady was there for me. So I feel like I owe her some form of, of a relationship. It doesn't necessarily have to be friendship, but I can always acknowledge the good thing that she did. I think that's more so what Kimmy was coming from. I feel like she was coming from a standpoint of like, well, no, she was there for me, and I can't not acknowledge that. I can't not acknowledge that. But at the same time, I don't have to agree with how she moves in her everyday life. I think that we all have friends like that. They're good people, and in the sense of it, they may not move the way we want them to move. So we kind of take a scale back. But well, as you say, Mel's underlying issue with Kimmy came through. Y'all think she has an underlying issue with Kimmy? And what do y'all think that issue would be? Because I don't know if I saw an issue with that. I just thought sometimes y'all Kimmy can be a little two faced a little bit. Sometimes she can be on the show. I've seen it.
Kimmy is wishy washy.
Hmm.
She's wishy washy. That's what I can't get with her.
I can't get with Kimmy because I feel like there's no way my husband could tell a public platform that through my cancer treatments and me going through all of the chemotherapy and stuff that he was still forcing me to have sex. There's no way you're going to tell the public that and me not, act a damn fool on you because how dare you try to embarrass me on platforms when I'm fighting for my life. That was crazy stuff to me. So I stopped seeing it for Kimmy after that. What Mel shared with Sonny was You think it was her issue with Kimmy? That's kind of an interesting,
She
astute
basically
observation.
said, and the receipt showed through the clips, that her issue with Kimmy stems in the fact that she's always defending Martell, and in some ways is trying to show respect to the side chick. It's
Mm.
But then for me, like, I would have an issue with that if that was my friend. But if it's somebody that's like not my close friend, then who cares? But and then it's like, if you're divorced from this man, you already not filming when he's around. Like, who cares? You're not married no more.
Well, no, because I understand when she said about the girl code, fuck the girl code, because none of these ladies have girl code, which is true. A lot of these women operate in secret of their men and protecting their men. So when the solidarity is broken, when you have male who's no longer with her man, then they're going to always take into account him before her. So I think that that's where she's saying. So I kind of actually could see HA's point. I actually can definitely see. I think this is definitely an underlying issue that Mel has with Kimmy, but she's not going to directly say it because at the end of the day, she's no longer with Martell, and it wouldn't matter anymore because they've been divorced for a few years now. So it no longer matters in the grand scheme of things. But I think this is probably always some way that she felt about Kimmy, and this whole Sunny thing just reignited that feeling of hers. So I definitely see HK's point. I actually see it more now than I did because I didn't think about it like that. That's a very astute observation because I did not see that at first, but now I see it now. Thank you, HK. We appreciate you. This is why we love you on this channel. Yeah, I can 100% agree with that. Absolutely. So she pretty much tells Sonny, look, come, be on your best girl behavior, but don't let these women ruffle your feathers. Forget them. And so it seems like she's going into this Mel's going into this with having Sonny's back because she made it clear she's not friends with Destiny, so she doesn't care. So, so we see a big group divide happen. Next week's episode looks like it's going to be great, and I cannot wait. This was a much better episode, but as I said, Mel was definitely channeling her inner Tiffany because she was with the mess, and I loved it. And I'll skip saying that Tiffany should be back on the show this episode. I'll skip that this time. Mrs. Best, is there anything you want to add to this before we go?
No, I thought Mel did good. That's it.
Okay. Well, that was it, you guys. Nothing much really happened, but it was a really good episode. I'm just saying, lot of things happened in this episode. But I'm excited for next week's episode. I can't wait to see what happens. And I am picking up Love and Marriage Detroit. You know, Shayna wishes the best for me on this one. I was cracking up when she told me that. She goes, "Good luck with that one, y'all," because that show was a lot. To me and Mrs. Best was covering. I dropped out after the third episode because I couldn't do it no more. So we'll see. But that comes on September 7th. So we will be adding that to our roster. Make sure you subscribe to both channels, watch all my reviews, and Mrs. Best. Her information is in my description box. So please go in the description box, click on her link. Make sure you subscribe to her channel because any reviews that I don't do on my channel, we will do on her channel. So far, we have Basketball Wives on her channel, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, whenever that decides to come back. So we have a lot. Yes, Detroit is back, HK. It is back, and unfortunately, I will be picking it up. So, and I'm gonna try to give them all a clean slate. I'm gonna give them all a clean slate. But if that first episode be like it was the first season, the same people I did not like, which was pretty much all of them. The only one I liked was Colby. That was the only one I liked. Outside of her, I didn't like anybody else. So we'll see how this works. But I can't wait to hear what you guys think of this episode. Chime in, tell me your opinions, tell me what you thought. Mrs. Best, thank you so much for being here. HK and also Paulette Scott, thank you for also joining us tonight. We appreciate you. I am James from Wash Your Mouth Reviews. I am signing out, y'all. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.